Gotta do a structural change on this. I noticed that my tracking was having trouble, and so I checked back here in the back. This is how I had this set up, and let's see. This bearing here is broken. You can see that right in there. That bearing broke, so that was allowing this thing to flop, the shaft to flop around, and so the wheel would move back and forth and tilt, which would change. This is the drive wheel. It would change the way the shaft tracked. So what I'm going to do, had this long shaft and had pressure from the belt on this side and the motor, and then the torque and tension from the belt, the sanding belt on this side. So the shaft was kind of bending a little bit because it was only supported here in the middle. I thought the shaft would be strong enough, being 3/4 inch diameter, but it wasn't. So what I'm going to do is modify the sanding frame, the sanding machine frame, so that these come out, the pillow blocks will come out farther towards the end, and I won't get that bending, and won't be breaking that pillow block. That happened when I put the machine up on high speed and ran for several knives. That pillow block broke. They were sitting right here. So what I'm going to do is weld an extension on here and an extension on here, so that the pillow blocks will mount farther out and give better support to that shaft. Do that while I'm waiting for this bearing to come in. It'll be a few days for that bearing to come in. It's still rolling, but that bearing started screaming, so went ahead and ordered those. I'll get that changed up. I hadn't run the machine on high speed for an extended period of time yet. Just like, I'll grind one knife, but I've started grinding more of those neck knives, and I run it on high speed, so now the weaknesses start to show themselves, which is okay, because now I can fix them, or I can modify it. So this is the modification that I've done to the sander after I broke that bearing on the other pillow block. Got a little bit bigger bearing, a little bit wider there. I'm going to reuse this one. This is the older one. It's still in good shape. The pillow block and everything on the other one was destroyed. It was just loose and sloppy. It had been eating itself up. I would reuse the shaft, but it's slightly bent, so that it's got a slight bow right here. This is where the two bearings were held before. The pillow blocks held it, and so it has a slight bow on this end. Very slight, but it's enough that at 7,300 RPM it starts to shake pretty good, or it starts to wobble. Not shake very good, but it gets to be noisy. And then, so those will go down on there. I'll put a little extension tube out here made from this material. Little extension tube I'll weld in there, and then put an eyelet on there so that I'll have a tie down for my tensioning spring. And I'm going to put a second tensioning spring up here, so that I can get the right tension at high speed. The drive wheel will sit right there, so it won't have hardly any shaft sticking out to bend. It'll be supported right there. The pulley system will sit right. The pulley will sit right here, so it won't have any shaft to bend either. It should be a lot more solid, a lot more steady. A lot more durable.